The king just spoke. And what came out of his mouth about Seth Rollins has sent shockwaves through every locker room, every arena, and every single corner of the wrestling world. This isn't just another interview. This isn't just corporate talk. Triple H, the man who built NXT from the ground up, the man who knows more about what it takes to be a champion than almost anyone alive, just said something about the visionary that changes everything. And I mean everything. Before this video ends, you're going to understand why careers hang in the balance, why Seth Rollins might never be the same, and why what Triple H revealed could reshape the entire landscape of WWE as we know it. Stick with me through every single second of this, because the twist at the end? You're not ready for it. Real quick though, if you love this kind of deep dive into the stories that matter, the moments that shake the foundation, I need you to do something for me. Not for me, really for you. Because when you subscribe to SLAMZONE and hit that notification bell, you're not just getting videos. You're joining a community of people who live and breathe this business like you do. People who get it. People who feel every suplex, every betrayal, every championship moment like it's personal. We're building something special here, and I want you to be part of it. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, smash the bell, and let's go on this journey together. Because what we're about to uncover, this is the kind of content that reminds you why you fell in love with wrestling in the first place. Now let's get into it. Triple H sat down recently, and the moment Seth Rollins' name came up, something shifted. You could see it in his eyes. You could hear it in his voice. This wasn't the corporate Triple H reading from a script. This was Paul Levesque, the man who has bled for this business, who has sacrificed everything for it, speaking from a place deeper than strategy. He was talking about legacy. He was talking about hunger. And he was talking about whether Seth Rollins still has what it takes to be the guy. Think about that for a second. Seth Rollins, the architect. The man who betrayed the Shield and became WWE champion. The man who walked into WrestleMania and slayed the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. The man who has reinvented himself more times than we can count, from the black and gold revolutionary to the Monday Night Messiah to the flamboyant, larger-than-life visionary we see today. This is a man who has held every major title, main event the biggest shows, and stood at the very peak of this industry. And yet, Triple H's words carried something heavy. Something that felt like doubt. Like concern. Like a coach watching a once great athlete who might be losing a step. He didn't trash Seth. He didn't bury him, but what he did say was somehow more brutal than any insult could ever be. He questioned whether Seth's focus is where it needs to be. Whether the man who once sacrificed friendships, morals, and his own body to get to the top still has that same fire, that same desperation, that same killer instinct. You see, in WWE, especially under Triple H's regime, it's not just about talent. It's not even just about charisma or mic skills or work rate. It's about that intangible thing, that hunger, that obsession, that willingness to do whatever it takes. And when the boss starts questioning whether you still have it, that's when careers shift. That's when pushes disappear. That's when the whole trajectory of your story changes. Let me paint you a picture of what this means. Imagine you're Seth Rollins right now. You've been at the top of this mountain. You've held the world in your hands. You've main event WrestleMania multiple times. You've been the guy that the company built around. And now, the man in charge, the man who decides who gets opportunities, who gets title shots, who gets to stand in that main event spotlight, is publicly, even if subtly, suggesting that maybe your best days are behind you. Maybe you're more interested in the spectacle than the substance. Maybe the artist has gotten so caught up in the performance that he's forgotten what it means to be a fighter. Can you imagine the weight of that? The pressure? The doubt that must creep in when you're lying awake at 3 a.m., replaying those words in your head? Because make no mistake, Seth Rollins heard what Triple H said. Every wrestler in that locker room heard it. And they're all thinking the same thing. If the visionary is losing favor with the king, that creates an opening. That creates opportunity. That creates a power vacuum. And here's where it gets really interesting. Think about the roster right now. Think about the young lions snapping at Seth's heels. Gunther, the ring general, who has dominated like no intercontinental champion in decades. LA Knight, who has the crowd in the palm of his hand every single night. Cody Rhodes, who is living his story as the face of WWE. Damian Priest. Drew McIntyre. Even younger guys like Braun Breaker coming up through the ranks. All of these men are hungry. All of them are watching. All of them heard what Triple H said, and they're thinking, if Seth is losing his spot, I'm ready to take it. This is the brutal reality of professional wrestling. There is no loyalty when it comes to the top spot. There is no room for sentimentality. The moment you show weakness, the moment the boss starts questioning your drive, there are 10 other guys ready to tear you apart to get what you had. And Triple H knows this better than anyone because he lived it. He was the guy who came up in an era where if you didn't fight for your spot every single day, someone like The Rock or Stone Cold or Shawn Michaels would take it from you. He learned from the best and the most ruthless. So when he looks at Seth Rollins now, he's not just seeing a talented performer. He's seeing a man at a crossroads. A man who has to decide, am I still willing to scratch and claw and fight for everything? Or have I gotten comfortable? Have I gotten complacent? Have I started believing my own hype? Now, let's be real for a second. Seth Rollins is still incredibly talented. The man can work a match with anyone. His in-ring psychology is off the charts. His character work, especially over the last few years, has been some of the most creative and entertaining stuff in WWE. But talent isn't always enough. History is littered with incredibly talented wrestlers who faded because they lost that edge, because they stopped evolving, because they assumed their spot was secure. And this is where Triple H's comments become a warning, not just to Seth, but to everyone. In his WWE, in his vision for the company, you don't get to rest on your laurels. You don't get to coast. You have to prove yourself every single night. You have to show that you're willing to put the company first, to tell the best stories, to give the fans something they'll never forget. And if you can't do that, there's no shortage of people who will. Here's something else to consider: the timing of all this. We're heading toward WrestleMania season, the biggest event of the year. The show where careers are made and legacies are cemented. And right now, as it stands, Seth Rollins doesn't have a clear path to the main event. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns seem destined for their rematch. Gunther is establishing himself as a future world champion. CM Punk is back in creating chaos. The landscape has shifted, and Seth? He's in danger of being left out of the biggest moments. And maybe that's what Triple H is really saying. Maybe this is his way of lighting a fire under Seth. Maybe he's challenging him: prove me wrong. Show me that you still have it. Show me that the architect can build himself back to the top. Show me that the visionary can see a path forward and take it, no matter who gets in the way. Before we go any further, I need to ask you something. Are you feeling this? Are you understanding how deep this goes? If you are, I need you to hit that like button right now. Seriously. Because when you like this video, it tells YouTube that this content matters, that these stories matter, and it helps us reach more people who care about wrestling the way we do. And drop a comment below telling me, do you think Seth Rollins still has what it takes to be the guy? Or has his time passed? I read every single comment, and I want to know what you think. This is a conversation, not a lecture. So let me hear your voice. And while you're at it, share this video with someone who loves wrestling. Share it with someone who needs to understand what's happening right now in WWE. Because this isn't just drama. This is the real story behind the story. Now, let's talk about what happens next. Because Triple H's words don't exist in a vacuum. They have consequences. Real, tangible consequences that we're going to see play out in the coming weeks and months. First, Seth has to respond. Not just with words, but with action. He has to show that he's still capable of delivering when it matters most. That might mean a feud with someone at the very top of the card. That might mean taking risks he hasn't taken in years. That might mean stepping out of his comfort zone and proving that the performer can still be the fighter. But here's the scary part: what if he can't? What if Triple H has seen something that the rest of us haven't? What if Seth has lost a step, and this is the beginning of his descent from the main event? We've seen it happen to legends before. We watched Shawn Michaels slow down. We watched Edge have to retire early the first time. We watched John Cena transition into a part-timer. Father Time is undefeated, and even the greatest eventually have to give way to the next generation. And that's what makes this moment so compelling. This isn't about good guys and bad guys. This isn't about heels and faces. This is about the harsh reality of a business where your value is determined by what you've done lately. Where past accomplishments mean nothing if you can't deliver today. Where even legends can find themselves on the outside looking in if they don't adapt and evolve. Triple H understands this better than most. His entire career was defined by evolution. From the blue blood hunter Hurst Helmsley to D-Generation X to the Game to the cerebral assassin to the Authority to the man running WWE today, he has constantly reinvented himself. And now he's looking at Seth Rollins and asking, can you do the same? Can you evolve one more time? Can you find that gear that takes you back to the top? The answer to that question will define not just Seth's career, but the entire direction of WWE's future. Because if Seth can rise to this challenge, if he can prove that the visionary still has vision and the architect can still build, then we're looking at one of the greatest comeback stories in recent memory. But if he can't? If he fades into the midcard, if he becomes just another name who used to be great, that opens the door for someone new, someone hungry, someone who will do whatever it takes. And maybe that's exactly what Triple H wants. Maybe this is all part of the plan. Because the king doesn't just build superstars, he creates scenarios where they prove themselves. He puts pressure on them. He challenges them. And those who rise to the challenge become legends. Those who don't, well, they become cautionary tales. So here we are. Triple H has thrown down the gauntlet. The wrestling world is watching. Seth Rollins stands at a crossroads. And we're about to find out if the visionary can see his way through the storm, or if the king's doubt will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is SLAMZONE, and this is the kind of story that reminds us why we love this business. The drama, the uncertainty, the knowledge that anything can happen and probably will. If you're not already subscribed, what are you waiting for? We break down these moments, these stories, these earth-shattering developments every single week. This is your home for real wrestling analysis, for content that respects your intelligence and your passion. So subscribe, hit that bell, and become part of the SLAMZONE family. Because we're just getting started, and you don't want to miss what comes next. The king has spoken. Now we wait to see how the visionary responds. And trust me, what happens next will shock you.